Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to this session. I'm Julie Roberts, and I'm one of the student advisors here at King's. We're a team of staff that are here to help you with practical issues that you might face while studying here. So just to give you a bit of an overview of the sorts of things that the student advice team help you with. You can see on this slide, we deal with many matters that may or may not affect you whilst you're here. So please familiarise yourself with the kinds of work that we do. We're a very friendly, student-focused team. We offer confidential advice. So if anything is troubling you whilst you're here, we're usually one of the key sets of people to try and come and see. We don't usually help with academic advice. That's usually done by our colleagues in the student union. But generally, other practical issues, we shall be able to help you. We have numerous sources, resources available to assist you whilst you're here. So just to help familiarise you with some of the pages that we have on the King's website, I just thought we'd throw those up. We have information, a lot of information on housing issues and money issues in particular. So just when you get a chance, start to look around our website and familiarise yourself with the kinds of information and support that we give, because it can be really useful to you. In addition to the specialist trained staff that we also have a team of student advisors, students that we've trained to give peer support to you on money issues. We sometimes find that you students prefer to speak to other students who are going through the same sorts of issues, same sorts of circumstances as your own. So you're able to use this team of people to help find out about funding, advice, support on any sort of money issue. If they can't help, then they'll direct you to one of the specialist team. So do look out for our money mentors. We've done a little video about them, so let's have a look at that to start with.
Money is obviously a massive part of coming to university, with the cost of coming to university, and particularly being in London. It's an amazing city, but we all know it can be quite expensive. So we want to make sure students are aware of the realities of studying here, but know that they can get lots of help with managing their money and making their money go as far as it can. So the money mentors are current students here at King's who have lived and breathed being a student, managing their own money. They've been specially trained by the Student Advice Service to be able to give peers, so their fellow students, money management guidance and budgeting skills so that they can help their friends thrive whilst living in London.
We are trying to give information to students that there are financial needs that King's can offer, and it is okay to seek for help, because I think the main problem for students is like they feel shy, ashamed if they're facing some kind of financial problems. But we are here as students, as money mentors, to tell them that it is okay, because we are facing almost the same thing as they were facing before.
To someone who's just come to university and is quite scared, I would tell them not to be scared. Now that we have a money mentor program, we have student services, I would say if you're having problems with your money or if you don't know where to start, just come talk to us and we'll give you like a head start. We'll tell you how to do things like the way we learned.
So the main worries that students have is about managing their money, so making sure that they have some at the end of the term as well as at the beginning when they get their loan instalment. So it's managing the money, making sure it lasts.
If you budget well, you can still enjoy all the nice things that London has to offer.
So I think it's very important to budget, because it is tempting in your first week at Freshers to kind of spend a lot of money, and most students do. So we get a lot of first year students kind of needing help but it's just about spacing it out. You can still be indulgent, but at the same time, a couple of weeks, you know, if you budget right, you'll end up with money at the end rather than having £20 for 2 weeks.
I think it's definitely possible to have a social life as long as you budget your money well so that you know how much is going out and how much is going in, and you can still have fun and enjoy your uni life.
Budgeting is a really, really important skill. It's a skill for life, not just whilst you're a student. It means you can organise your finances, you know what you've got coming in, what's going out. It's the only way really to be on top of your money.
So that gave you a bit of a flavour, a bit of an overview of the Money Mentor scheme that we use here. Today's session is very much about looking after your money, tips on budgeting, and other useful information around your finances. Unfortunately, it's not a session where we're looking at different funds that are available. If that's the kind of information that you're looking for, then you're encouraged to have a look on our website. If you look under funding office, that's a team there that look after all the different types of scholarships, trusts, bursaries, some information on student loans, etc. So please do look there if that's what you're keen to know more about. But today we're just going to be looking at how you can look after the money that you have, the money that you're now in receipt of. So we strongly encourage budgeting. We strongly encourage you to be very formal about how you look after your money. It's so important because we see a lot of students that don't recognise the importance and can then struggle throughout the year to really cope with their course, cope with their finances. So nice and early, right now, whilst you're just all new to the institution, please do carefully think about how you're going to look after your finances as well as how you're going to progress on your course and your social activities, etc. It really does make a big difference. As you heard in the video, the Money Mentors, they're very keen on emphasising that because many of them have gone through their first year perhaps without doing these kinds of things and know from experience just how much more stressful it is without budgeting. So they have been there, done it, bought the t-shirt kind of thing, and that's why we like to use them because they can be a really useful resource. They know what you're going through. But there's no doubt that by formally organising your money, you are going to make sure that you're less stressed whilst here. Budgeting helps you to plan, helps you to focus on what's a priority bill, what's not a priority, and it also helps you to see if there are periods where you know things are going to be a little bit tighter at certain points, so you can plan ahead, you can start to make contingency plans for unforeseen circumstances, etc. So it really does help to have a very long, year-long view of your finances. So you're here and there are a number of things that you're probably now going to have to be responsible for. And some of you for the first time, some of you will have just left home for the first time, have your own budgets, have your own bank accounts, have your own first bills that are coming in your name. And so it's really important that you recognise the depth, the breadth of things that you're going to now have to try and cope with financially. Right now, many of you will hopefully have funds coming in. You'll be at the point where it's all in your bank account. So this is the point we really want to emphasise, that you start to formally sort of work out how you're going to cope financially. So there's many ways to plan your budget. There's some very simple things you can do yourself, or you can use online calculators, apps, for example. At King's, we've teamed up with an organisation called Black Bullion, and they are a specialist organisation who work with young people in money management skills. You register with them, they have online tools and modules that you can go through, and in the end it's there to help you to make the most of your finances. Be aware of typical financial products, the pitfalls, the pros of these things. It's a very good resource for all sorts of money type management skills. And as it said in the video, these are skills that you will need and you will carry throughout your life. So the earlier you become familiar and get to grips with these, the better. They will really help throughout life. Now, again, just to show you how simple it is to make a budget, we've got this little film for you.
Using Powtoon.
So it can be quite simple. It's simple as listing what's coming in, what's got to go out, and looking at how those things interact, whether they're balancing or not. And if not, you need to start thinking about ways to make that work for you. Now, we have our own budget sheets online that you can download and use, and we've tried to make them student-friendly, so they've got all the sort of student key things on there. So by all means, get onto our website, as I showed you earlier, and use some of the resources that we have. But in the video, it talked about ways to try and improve your budget if you find that it's not balancing. And it talks about maximizing your income. Now, you're a very diverse bunch, and I imagine your income comes from various different sources. You need to just think about whether there's ways of improving that income. and that will depend very much on your own circumstances. One of the typical things that our students use is working part-time. On October the 6th, the careers department here will be having a careers fair where there will be employers that potentially are looking for students. There'll be lots of information and advice around working part-time whilst you're studying. So please make a note to visit with them if that is something that would suit you. It's on the 6th of October. If you just search on our website under careers, you'll find all the information there about when it's on and where to find them. It's going to be on the Strand campus, which is a campus not too far away, but you're going to have to travel to get there. So start looking into that and whether that's going to suit you. There are other ways of finding work whilst you're here, and so you might want to register with a couple of different organisations that we promote. Jobs online, that's something that the Careers Service look after here. And if you go again onto their pages, there'll be information there about how to register yourself on there and use that as a resource for looking for student-related work that's going to suit you as a student. But also if you register on something called Talent Bank, there you can write a little profile about yourself, and that's an opportunity then to find work within King's. So it may be that within King's they're looking for students to help in certain areas. For example, if we're promoting money mentors, or you may have student ambassadors. You may have seen lots of students helping out during the last few days. That's where you'll find information and advertisements around those kinds of jobs. So if you're thinking about working, there's a couple of tips there to help you to find suitable work. As I said earlier, we do have funds within the institution that you may be able to access, and so it's worth checking what scholarships and bursaries are available and to see if you are able to apply. We have a team within the institution called the Student Funding Office, and they can give you advice and guidance on any of these internal funds. So again, if you want to find out what's there, then if you just search for the Student Funding Office, you should find relevant information there. And they also look after our hardship funds too. So on occasion, we meet students who have had some unforeseen issue with their funding. Perhaps there's been some problem at home that's meant that their money isn't coming through from home as they expected, or perhaps they're relying on the government here through student finance loans, and things aren't going to plan. Then they may be able to access a little help, a little short-term help from our hardship funds. So be aware, if things are difficult, come and ask about things like that. And externally, we encourage students to look around for any trusts or charities that may be targeting support towards students. And again, this is all in the name of trying to increase your income, trying to get as much money coming to you as possible. So it's really worth doing your homework on these things and then accessing as much as you can, because that will make life a lot easier. So you're maximising your income as much as you can, you're claiming everything that you're entitled to, but then you also need to keep an eye on minimising your expenses. Now, there are a number of ways to keep your costs down as a student. For example, you can purchase an NUS card, a National Union of Student card, and that will give you then access to a range of discounts on all sorts of things. So a very good example is that if you have one of these cards, you can sometimes get up to 40% off at certain restaurants, certain pizza chain type restaurants. So 40% is an enormous discount to claim. Now this card from the NUS costs around £12 a year. So it's not very much money, and obviously if you're accessing all the discounts, it will pay for itself. So another good tip in order to keep your costs down. Travel is another area that you spend a lot of money on in London, but again, students can get discount on. We have a student discount for tube travel, for underground travel. And similarly, if you're using the train system, the British rail system, there are student discounts to be had there too. So make sure that you're claiming all of these things so that whenever you're spending, you're not spending unnecessarily. One of the things that we encourage our money mentors to do recently was to help us to think about ways that they save money. It's practical things, small things, such as making packed lunches and bringing those into uni instead of buying from the cafes, etc. It's about maybe pooling your shopping with your friends so that you can buy in bulk and perhaps again take advantage of discounted prices. So there's lots of ways to try and keep costs down. And at the end of this presentation, again, we've got another video from our money mentors where they give some really lovely examples of keeping your costs down whilst you study here. I'm going to put her on the spot, but we've got one of our money mentors here, Vika. This is Vika. She's one of our money mentors. She's been working with us for over a year now.
Over a year now.
And so I just thought it might be useful for you to just introduce yourself, make the students aware of the kinds of campaigns that we do and the resources that you've helped us to collate since you've been joining.
Okay, cool. So my name's Vika and I'm a third year philosophy, religion, ethics student. And basically as a money mentor personally, what I've been doing is I've been giving advice and guidance on ways to save, how to budget, helping with budget plans in some cases as well, and on our money campaigns as well, we'll again raise awareness of the kind of things that we can, how to save around London, free stuff to do as well, and just basically a lot of raising awareness really, and kind of reminding you throughout the year the importance of making your money go further. Because sometimes, as a student, you can get pressured into, a lot of different things, and London is quite an expensive place where it can be. So yeah, it's constantly reminding us to kind of not lose track of how we're spending our money and where we're at, if that makes sense. I don't know, is that all right?
Super, thank you. We've got some money mentors in the marketplace outside, and here all week, is it?
Yeah, so we're here all week. We also do have drop-ins as well throughout the year where you'll be able to speak to money mentors specifically, which is quite nice because I feel like, you can speak to us as, we are students, only a couple of years old in some cases and stuff like that. And it's quite comforting, I think, because we can, relate to each other and stuff like that. So we have those throughout the year as well. But if you follow our Facebook pages, I think it's the King's College Student Services for Housing and Money, we update about these kind of events and drop-in sessions that you can come down to.
Thank you.
Is that okay?
So I think we've kind of emphasised the importance of budgeting and given you some ideas about how you can then go away and do something like that. And if you do need help, support, you know that we're here to give that to you. Just something, again, money related, that might be of interest to some of you. Banking. Again, many may be having to open their first bank account themselves, or they're coming from abroad and have to negotiate a whole different system here. If you are an international student and you need more information about opening your own bank account, we do have some useful resources again on our website. So please do start by looking at all of those. And there's specific information for international students. The British Banking Association have written a very good comprehensive guide for international students coming to study in the UK, and there's lots of information there, guidance on opening a bank account, and some examples of bank accounts that you might want to access. So if that's something that you need more information on, it is there. Please do look on our website and you should find really useful information. There are numerous banks to choose from, and so it will be down to personal choice. But just have a look at the kinds of things that each bank is offering to just make sure that it suits you. Now, often at this time of year, they're very keen to attract a student client, so they will offer incentives for you to join. They'll offer what we call freebies. There'll be some incentive, there'll be some gift for applying, for staying with them. Now, that may be great and suitable, but you should look at the bigger picture as well. Don't be bamboozled by the free gift. Have a look at the other services that they provide, if there's any charges for services, etc. Just make sure that it fits all of your needs and you're not just encouraged by the free gift at the moment. Now, there are a couple of really good websites where they have comparison tables on the bank's student accounts. So this particular one, it's called Money Saving Expert. That's a very good site for information around financial products and discounts. Lots of information there about discounts. Very focused on saving the consumer money, so that's a really good site to become familiar with. And then Save the Student, another site that you might want to start looking at to get some very useful information around studying and money. Now, it might be that you would like to open 2 bank accounts actually, because one of the tips that you might find useful is creating a second bank account where you pay yourself money, a weekly budget, a monthly budget into that, and that's then what you use for the whole month or the whole week or however you're going to do it, to help you to guard against overspending. So when you're looking at a budget, you might work out exactly what you need, how much you want to be able to spend per week, per month. Then maybe it's a good idea to open a second bank account and just send that money into this second bank account so that you're not tempted to overspend. I think a lot of our students find it particularly tempting to overspend when they're out for the evening and they've got their card and they're making it easier and easier to spend money. You don't even have to know your PIN number these days. So these are little tips that we've learned from some of our mentors that help them to just protect themselves against some of those easy things that you can do that suddenly blow your budget. So you might want to open 2 bank accounts. That's perfectly fine. Once you get your bank account, you're often given a card, so do remember some safety tips. Sign the back of the card, keep it safe at all times. You get a PIN number, obviously memorize that and destroy the letter which carries the PIN number on it, because you do not want to keep those 2 things together. That can obviously spell trouble. So make sure you do all the basics to ensure that you're safe with your money. Regularly check your bank accounts so you're aware if money's going out that you can't account for, so you can approach the bank and find out more. Obviously, there's just a lot of internet fraud, a lot of card fraud that's going on worldwide. So these are just, again, little tips to make sure that you are aware of your money and you don't become victim to anything like that. Limit your use on public computers, particularly if it's for banking. Really not a good idea at all. And be aware of what's called phishing emails. Emails that purport to be from key organisations like your bank, like Student Finance England, like the university, that start to ask you lots of personal information. They might suggest that they need your bank details to pay you some money. You may feel, well, that's a bit odd. I wasn't expecting any money. Phone check first. Do not put your bank details into these, respond to these emails. Generally, they're a bad idea. If your bank need to get hold of you and want some information from you, they will be on the phone and they will not ask you for personal information over the phone. So just be careful. We see it regularly at this time of year because there's a lot of students coming into the system. And so it's something that comes up all the time around this time of year. So just be really careful. Never give your personal information over the phone or on an email. Check very carefully who you're speaking to. If somebody says they're from the bank, for example, take their number and call the bank and check that that's a genuine call and proceed from there, okay? Even today on the news, I was just at lunchtime seeing a report about a woman who was told that on the end of the phone that it was the police and that they'd stopped some fraud and they wanted her details to check that they had the right bank account details. And of course, because she heard it was from the police, she felt quite ease at giving them personal information. They even sent a courier to her house and said, give us your cards, we need your cards, and we'll send them right back. And of course, again, because she thought it was the police, it all seemed very formal. A courier arrived, she gave up her information, and now she's lost thousands of pounds. So it's really easily done, and these fraudsters will go to extreme lengths to get your trust. So just be really very careful. So we've given you lots of information about money, budgeting, banking, etc. But if you end up wanting to come and speak to someone on an individual basis, then there are ways to get in contact and come and see one of us. Again, refer to the website, and there you'll find an online booking form, so you can give us details of when you're available, the nature of the query, how we can get hold of you, and we can respond to you that way. Our staff are on campuses all around the university, and you might want to come to one of their drop-ins where you can have quick questions answered, things that aren't very complicated. Again, all advertised on the website, can change from one week to the next, so please check the website before arriving. And we can also arrange for telephone appointments, and we will be setting up a telephone helpline in the next few weeks once we get through the induction process. So lots and lots of ways to access us. If you prefer, you can email. Now, if it's money-specific queries, then we have a specific email address, money@kcl.ac.uk. Or if it's more general, then advice@kcl.ac.uk. So there's many ways to get through and speak to an advisor, so please do not feel alone if you have questions or confusion around money or any of those other subjects that we looked at the beginning of this presentation. As we said, we also have the resource of our money mentors, and they'll be on campus throughout the year, but we have some campaigns where we focus their attention, And so around November, we do a big Claim It campaign where, again, we just emphasise all the different funds that are available, allow people to come and ask more questions if they're not sure about eligibility, etc. So look out, they'll be all around the different campuses in November. And then later in the year, in January, we join with all the other universities around the country to promote a campaign called National Student Money Week. And for this new year, for the 2016 academic year, the theme will be Waste Not, Want Not. So we're looking forward to our money mentors coming up with good ways to help you to recycle, maybe reduce waste, this kind of thing. So there'll be lots of really useful tips around that time of year on that kind of subject. So do look out for the money mentors, and please, please do come and speak to them or us if you have any queries whatsoever. So finally, we talked about tips, and these are some that our money mentors gave us for last year, and so hopefully you'll find them useful for this year too.
Number one tip to live in London is to just walk wherever you are. London is very beautiful. You get to see the beautiful architecture as well, save money on tube and buses, and you get healthier at the end of the day.
If you want coffee and you don't want to pay £3, go to Pret. They do 99p filter coffees.
Definitely try and save up going for restaurants, like for special occasions. Like we went out after exams, which was nice.
Buying big batches with your friends. I had online shopping, so we would all buy together and we would all come up very cheap.
Cook your own meals.
Anything that you can make in bulk is good. So I had a flatmate who would just make a massive, like 2-litre tub of pasta, and he would just take that with him, and that's what he'd eat all day.
London is a very expensive city, but there are a lot of things that people can do for free, and a lot of cultural stuff, and a lot of arts are displayed for free.
For London, you can go to Shakespeare's Globe for tickets £5 for students.
Buy the reduced things at Sainsbury's.
Just save £10 a month. After a year, you have a lot of money. And then you can use that for a holiday or a rainy day, and if you want to buy something.
Do not stop for a kebab after a night out. So I'm subscribed to many platforms like my uni days, and they send me weekly and monthly emails saying these promotions we have coming up.
Get rid of old clothes, sell them on eBay, and then you can get some money in to save and then maybe buy some new things as well.
I budget myself for about £30 a week to just get lunch and coffee and stuff like that, and that's usually enough.
Yeah, have fun, enjoy university life.
And everywhere we go, always ask for student discount.
If you have questions, you're free to come and ask me or maybe your money mentor, or as I said, they're in the marketplace right now, so you could go and have a look at some of the resources that we have there, including the budgeting sheet, and take advantage of speaking to them about their experience. But hopefully that was helpful, and we can just wish you well for your future studies. Thank you for coming.